All right, have and have not fans, a popular theory that I wouldn't even say that I came up with because again, before making this video, I've seen this in the comments in my videos for the past couple weeks, and of course I was actually hanging out with my mom sometime on Saturday, and we just talked about the you know have and have nots. I mean, honestly, if you're new to the channel, my mom and I have started watching since episode 1 came out a couple years ago, and we talk about the show every freaking week, even during hiatus. That's how I can kind of recall a lot of this information from the show. So we talked about the possibility of and again, you've probably already talked about this with your own family as well as other have and have not fans, of Oscar and Charles working together to screw over Candace. And it sounds feasible because again, my mom broke it down. Not to say I didn't read, you know what it is, where you know how it is where somebody will tell you something, but it really doesn't make sense until you hear it from somebody else. I guess you could relate to that. You know, if your parents ever told you not to do something, but then when you hear it from another person, somebody in your age group or a stranger, it sounds better. So the plot, and again, it goes back to a video I did, you know, not too long ago, and I believe it was recently, or I might have done it before this one, about the quality of the haves and the have-nots, where things have gotten a bit ridiculous in terms of the plot. And even Candace comments on this in the next episode about Charles talking about bringing her to the inauguration ball. Yeah, was that it? I forgot. Anyway, even Candace is like, this is a bit unbelievable. I can't believe this is ridiculous. So the way she says that speaks for all of us. And the theory is that Oscar and Charles are working together, not only to, you know, screw over Candace, but at the same time make it so Charles loses the presidential campaign. And again, this is just a theory because I know we already had the whole plot where Charles turned into Chucky, saying that he knows everything about Candace, even about Brandon, Oscar, or whatever, trying to screw up his chances of winning the presidency. And it does sound feasible because again, Oscar has screwed over Candace twice now. Why do I say twice? Of course, the first time was when he got the money back from Candace that she took from Jim Cryer. And then of course, when he played her with the fake $250,000, actually makes a lot of sense because Oscar not being able to work with Candace, but then able to work with Charles using Candace for their own means does make a lot of sense. So it actually is pretty feasible. But of course, little things here and there are kind of possibly going to mess things up, like the whole, you know, Candace's son being dead. And then maybe, and again, I've read some comments where they say, hey, maybe the Secret Service, you know, is in on this too, and that's why they have Benny in custody. Wow, that's pretty interesting. And I'm going to do another video too about, you know, who will take the fall so Candace will rise. I ain't gonna lie, I just made that one up. That's, you know what, that's going to be the time of the video. Who will fall so that Candace will rise, in order to allow her to go to the, you know, first lady status. So again, just a quick video because honestly, gosh, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if it turned out to be true. But at the same time, you got to know that Charles, you know, being with the Secret Service and all, let's say everything is a ploy by Oscar and he really is, you know, running for presidency and whatnot. And of course, it seems like he is, given the fact that even David was the first one, if I'm not mistaken, David was the first character to approach him, approach Charles at the hotel. Wow, I'm sorry. I'm kind of tongue-tied today. Basically, he ran into Charles at the hotel to, you know, congratulate him on potentially being the next president. So I'm pretty sure this isn't one of those situations where, remember how Landon pulled up the website that, you know, Oscar tricked, well, didn't trick him. Well, actually did kind of trick him. Long story short, remember when Candace and Oscar first met at the Sarandon Hotel at the bar, and, you know, Candace kept blowing him off because she just felt that there was something off about him. Next thing you know, Landon pulled up a website and showed Candace, you know, oh my gosh, this guy's like a stockbroker. He's, you know, a widower, and, you know, he's rich and stuff like that. And then it all turned out to be fake. Remember? Who's to say the same thing isn't happening now with Charles? I'm not going to lie. It does sound pretty feasible. So all I'm saying is it does seem pretty possible if it turned out to be a big ploy to, you know, screw Candace over. Remember that Oscar wined and dined her by taking her to New York, meeting some of his, you know, clients and whatnot. And, you know, he had the plane and it seemed like it was legit. The same thing could be happening now, and it would be pretty interesting. Honestly, it would be quite refreshing if it did happen because, again, it would explain how freaking ridiculous the plot is now. So I feel like it's a welcome, you know, kind of adjustment to the series. But at the same time, and again, I'm going to go into this in my, you know, Who Will Fall So Candace Will Rise video about rinse and repeat with a lot of the plot. And again, I want to get into more detail on that in the next video, but I just want to do this video to kind of address the whole, hey, I read my comments, I hear what you're saying, so I just want to bring it back to the haves and have not community. Do you think Charles and Oscar are working together to screw over Candace? And would it surprise me? Maybe a little, but I feel like it would be a good surprise.